GMNA uses artificial intelligence for generated speech, visuals, and production. AI-generated content may contain errors. Please verify important information before making decisions or taking action.
Good morning, Montreal. I'm Lauren Dupuis. Tonight's top story: Marina Mabrey's 30-point heroics lift the Toronto Tempo past the New York Liberty, snapping a 4-game skid. Expect heavy traffic on the highways with bridge work ongoing and a heat-related air quality alert across the region. Ryan, what do you make of that?
CF Montreal beat Vancouver FC by 2-1, securing a spot in the Canadian Championship semi-finals yesterday.
The match took place at Montreal's home stadium, and the victory moves CF Montreal into the semi-finals of the championship.
The 2-1 scoreline advances CF Montreal to face an opponent in the upcoming Canadian Championship semi-final round.
All right, let's get into it. The top headlines for today include local community events and breaking news updates. Good morning, Montreal. Marina Mabrey delivered a spectacular performance yesterday at the Bell Centre, scoring 30 points to guide the Toronto Tempo to a 93-91 victory over the New York Liberty. The win snapped a 4-game losing streak that had plagued the Tempo and marked the second of a 2-game series the team is staging in the city. New York kept the contest close, tying the game late before Toronto edged ahead with a decisive layup in the final minute. The tightly contested game featured several lead changes, and the final margin was just 2 points. Mabrey's scoring burst came on a night when both squads drew sizable crowds eager to see WNBA action on the island. The result not only lifts the Tempo's morale, but also sets them up for a fresh start as they return to their regular schedule next week.
Police from the Service de Police de la Ville de Montreal announced they confiscated 58 kilograms of cocaine during a coordinated 48-hour operation that concluded early this morning. Investigators said the raid spanned 2 days, targeting a network suspected of moving large quantities of the drug through the city. Officers seized the narcotics from multiple locations across the island, though the exact sites were not disclosed. The haul marks one of the largest single-batch seizures recorded by the SPVM this year and underscores the department's ongoing focus on dismantling trafficking rings. No arrests were reported at the time of the announcement, and officials said the evidence will be processed as part of the broader investigation. The seizure forms part of a citywide crackdown that has already yielded several other significant busts this year. The police continue to pursue leads linked to the operation.
At 5 a.m. today, Mercer de Montreal announced it will shift its brewing operations out of the island, moving production to a site beyond the municipal limits. The family-run brewery, founded here in the early 2000s and long-standing for brewing locally sourced ales, confirmed the relocation will begin later this year. Officials said the decision follows a review of capacity constraints and rising property costs, though they declined to name the new location. The move will affect roughly 30 employees, with most slated to transfer to the new facility, while a smaller group faces reassignment or severance. City leaders expressed concern about the loss of a historic manufacturing presence, and the mayor's office indicated it will monitor the impact on local jobs and tax revenue. The company plans to maintain its brand and distribution network from the new site.
CF Montreal secured a 2-1 victory over Vancouver FC yesterday at Stade Saputo, moving the host club into the Canadian Championship semi-finals. The home side opened the scoring early, with a crisp strike from their leading forward that slipped past the Vancouver keeper. Vancouver equalized midway through the first half, but a late surge saw Montreal's midfielder fire the decisive goal, restoring the lead and sealing the win. Coach Martin Gendron praised the squad's resilience after a hard-fought first leg, noting the team executed the game plan with discipline. The victory puts Montreal one step closer to a coveted spot in the CONCACAF Champions League, the continent's premier club tournament. Fans celebrated the result outside the stadium, waving flags and chanting as the final whistle blew. The electric atmosphere reflected the city's passion for soccer, with families and season ticket holders filling the stands.
Rescue teams intensified their search yesterday after a man vanished in the water at the Old Port. Authorities said the individual slipped and was pulled under the current near the historic quay, prompting an immediate nighttime operation. Divers, surface vessels, and canine units combed the river and surrounding docks throughout the evening, while police secured the area and directed pedestrians away from hazardous zones. Officials confirmed the search remains active, but no body has been recovered, and the identity of the missing person has not been released. The effort is being coordinated by the Service de Police de la Ville de Montreal alongside marine safety crews, who are employing sonar equipment to scan the depth. Families and onlookers were urged to stay clear as the operation continues into the early hours. Coming up, we'll explore the video game sector's tough cutbacks, about 230 jobs in 4 months. We will be right back.
Watch the local sunset tonight at 6 p.m. for all your local Montreal news.
If you run a venue, a comedy night, a concert, a fundraiser, you already know the hardest part isn't the show. It's selling the seats. Theaterfiller changes that. In minutes, you're set up with your own ticketing page, QR code delivery, and a door scanner. No technical headaches. No middleman taking a cut of your night. Your event, your tickets, your revenue. Go to theaterfiller.com and fill every seat.
Welcome back. I'm glad you stayed with us. Now Ryan Mercer will bring you the top local stories you need to know this morning.
Ryan Mercer, over the past 4 months, the province's video game sector has shed roughly 230 jobs across Montreal's development studios. Companies ranging from indie houses to larger publishers have announced cuts, leaving a wave of experienced programmers, artists and designers searching for new positions. The reductions reflect broader uncertainty in Quebec's gaming market, where funding delays and shifting global demand have tightened budgets. While some firms cite restructuring to stay competitive, the cumulative impact is felt by families and local talent pipelines that feed the city's tech ecosystem. Since March, 6 studios have confirmed cuts, which have postponed several game launches and strained local apprenticeship programs that supply fresh talent. Industry groups warn that continued dismissals could slow the region's reputation as a North American development hub, and they are monitoring the situation closely as the layoffs remain ongoing.
Yesterday, more than 300 locals gathered for the Grand Splash at Lachines René Lévesque Park, right beside the former marina. Participants leapt into the water in a lively community celebration, turning the waterfront into a bustling scene of laughter and splashing. Event organizers said the turnout exceeded expectations and hopes the visible enthusiasm will sway the Lachine Borough Council as it reviews plans for an open-air pool. Council members observed the crowd from the park's promenade, noting the strong community interest in expanding recreational options. The Splash, organized by local volunteers and supported by the borough, highlighted the area's love for outdoor summer activities. Residents left the event with wet shoes and bright smiles, a reminder of how a simple gathering can showcase neighborhood spirit. Kids splashed beside parents, and nearby cafes reported a surge in patrons seeking a cool drink after the fun.
Yesterday, Environment Canada issued heat warnings and air quality alerts for several provinces after temperatures surged across the prairies and eastern Canada. Residents in Regina and Winnipeg faced soaring heat that pushed indoor thermometers into the high 90s, while parts of Ontario and Quebec saw comparable highs that strained ventilation systems and prompted concerns about ozone levels. The agency warned that prolonged exposure could aggravate respiratory conditions and urged people to limit outdoor activity during the hottest periods, keep windows closed when possible, and stay hydrated. Schools and workplaces were advised to adjust schedules and provide cooling areas. Health officials reminded that vulnerable groups, especially seniors and young children, are at greater risk when heat and pollutants combine. The alerts remain in effect for the next few days as the region continues to bake.
On Tuesday, Premier Christine Freychet unveiled a new project office dedicated to modernizing a 5-kilometer stretch of Highway 132 on the South Shore. The office will coordinate upgrades between St. Constant, St. Catherine and Delson, a corridor that sees heavy commuter traffic each morning. The office will oversee design studies, procurement and scheduling, keeping the work on track and within budget. Officials said the initiative aims to improve safety and reduce congestion, with plans to install updated signage, resurfacing, and enhanced lighting. The announcement, made in the Sanguinet riding, follows earlier commitments to strengthen regional road networks. This effort forms part of the province's wider push to modernize key transport arteries across the region. Construction crews are expected to begin work later this year, pending final permits. Residents can anticipate smoother travel along the route once the improvements are complete, easing daily commutes and supporting local businesses that rely on reliable transport links.
Firefighters from across Canada and the United States gathered in Montreal last Saturday for the Quebec Regional Firefight Championship. The two-day competition tested participants' skill, strength, and rescue techniques through a series of time challenges. More than 130 firefighters took part, pushing themselves in obstacle courses, hose drag drills, and simulated rescues. Firefighters representing stations from the east side, west side, and surrounding suburbs joined the lineup, each wearing their unit patches. Organizers said the event showcases the physical readiness essential to emergency response and fosters camaraderie among crews. Spectators watched as teams raced up ladders, carried weighted mannequins, and demonstrated coordinated teamwork. The championship, held annually, draws participants eager to benchmark their fitness against peers and to refine techniques used on the front line. Winners were announced Sunday, highlighting the top performers in endurance, strength, and tactical rescue categories.
Now let's check the morning outlook and see how today's heat and air quality warnings will affect us.
Northwest jet stream surging aloft and a waning high-pressure ridge are setting up today's sweltering, overcast spell. On this date, the city scorched to a record high of 33.7 degrees Celsius back in 2016, a peak that rode the tail of a midsummer heat wave across the province. The coldest reading for July 12th sits at 14.1 degrees Celsius, recorded in 2017 during an unusual Arctic dip that pushed the jet stream south. By contrast, today's climatological average hovers around 26 degrees high and 17 degrees low, comfortably between those extremes. The live radar is a blank canvas across southern Quebec. No echoes trace any rain or snow bands, confirming a dry air mass anchored by the high-pressure ridge. With the jet stream carving a gentle northwest flow aloft, any disturbance would be sheared apart before reaching the island. Expect the map to stay clear through the morning, and the calm will linger into the afternoon as the ridge holds. At 7 a.m. Montreal sits under a mostly clear sky with a temperature of 17 degrees Celsius and a humidity of 81%. The dew point rests at 14 degrees, keeping the air comfortably moist while a gentle southwest breeze whispers at 9 kilometers per hour. A high-pressure center dominates the surface, but it is easing lower, allowing the atmosphere to become increasingly unsettled as the day progresses. Overhead, a fast-moving northwest jet stream punches through at 65 kilometers per hour, funneling warm air from the interior and capping any lift. The UV index reads 6. Temperatures will climb to a high of 30 degrees by midday, then ease to 27 as cloud cover thickens. Winds will remain modest, peaking at 14 kilometers per hour from the southwest. No weather alerts are in force. Monday will remain overcast as the high pressure retreats, allowing a weak frontal boundary to drift north. Highs will sit near 28 degrees with lows holding at 17. Tuesday brings a surge of warm air, pushing the thermometer to a blistering 33 degrees and a low of 21, while cloud cover stays thick. Wednesday clears dramatically. The ridge re-establishes itself, delivering a bright sky and a high of 30 degrees beside a low of 20. Thursday reverts to a mainly clear pattern, but a lingering moisture tongue brings a 25% chance of rain, with temperatures steady at 30 highs and 17 lows. Friday finishes the stretch with overcast skies and a cooler high of 24 degrees, low dipping to 16. The jet stream will stay aloft, limiting any severe development throughout the period. And that's your weather. Remember, the local sunrise is also available as a podcast. Listen anytime on iHeartRadio or wherever you get your podcasts.
We'll update you on heavy traffic from highway closures, the Poppy concert at MTELUS, and the Roses win. We will be right back.
Watch the local sunset tonight at 6 p.m. for all your local Montreal news.
Eastbound Highway 40 is closed between the Côte de Lys interchange and Autoroute 15. All eastbound traffic must detour onto Boulevard St. Laurent, then merge onto Autoroute 15 at the Descartes exit. Expect delays of 20 minutes to half an hour, especially during the morning rush. On the Honoré-Mercer Bridge, one lane in each direction is down for construction. Traffic is still moving, but add 10 to 15 minutes to your trip. Highway 13 and the Highway 520 interchange at Côte de Lys are also seeing lane reductions and closed ramps. Stay in the left lane and follow posted signs. Aside from those corridors, most routes are flowing smoothly. The metro and commuter rail are running on schedule with no reported issues. Looking ahead, the closures remain in effect through the evening. Afternoon drivers should consider alternative routes such as Boulevard St. Laurent or Autoroute 15 westbound to avoid the bottlenecks.
The Pan American Canoe Sprint and Paracano Championships kick off today at the Olympic Basin on Parc Jean-Drapeau, marking the 50th anniversary of the 1976 venue. A must-see for sport lovers, and a proud moment for Montreal's Olympic legacy. Pop rock sensation Poppy takes the stage tonight at MTELUS on St. Laurent, delivering her high-energy set for fans looking for a fresh soundtrack to the weekend. If you're in the mood for classic cinema, the Canal de l'Aqueduc is hosting a free outdoor film noir screening this evening, perfect for a relaxed night under the stars. Across the city, the Festival International de Jazz, Just for Laughs and Soul Fest are all in full swing, offering everything from swing sets to stand-up and soulful funk. And don't miss tomorrow's Icelandic folk metal showcase with Skald at MTLUS, or the MLS showdown between Toronto FC and CF Montreal later this week at Stade Saputo. And now here's Tyler with sports.
Local soccer on a high and a Hab heads west. Sports is next. The Montreal Roses picked up a 1-0 victory over the visiting Halifax Tides in Northern Super League play Sunday. Substitute Chloe Minas was the hero, burying a penalty kick in the 77th minute to seal the clean sheet for Montreal. The Montreal Roses have added serious international firepower to their roster. The club announced the signings of Marie-Yasmine Aladou and Yves Perisset, two players described as high-profile with strong international pedigree, according to CBC Sports Soccer. A chapter has closed in Montreal. The Canadiens traded forward Brendan Gallagher to the Vancouver Canucks in exchange for future considerations. The deal was reported by CBC Sports NHL late last month, ending Gallagher's long run in Montreal.
MTY Food Group, the Montreal-based franchising powerhouse behind dozens of casual dining brands, announced a major shift today. After a sharp drop in sales and profit, the company will shutter 68 restaurant locations, all outside Quebec, while its Quebec outlets remain open. The closures will affect hundreds of employees and ripple through local suppliers who rely on those kitchens. For neighborhoods across the country, the loss of familiar dining spots means fewer jobs and fewer places to gather over a quick bite. Here in Montreal, MTY still stands as a homegrown success story that helped put our city's culinary creativity on the national stage, reminding us that even the strongest can face tough seasons. And later, we'll share the inspiring story of Quebec's firefighters pushing their limits in the Provincial Fitness Championship.
Coming up tonight at 6, the local sunset. Your neighborhood, your city, your news. From city hall decisions to the stories happening right on your street, we cover what matters most to Montrealers. Join us tonight at 6 p.m. on GMNA for the local sunset, Montreal's evening newscast.
At the heart of downtown Montreal, the brand new Tempo Arena buzzed with the sound of sneakers on polished hardwood and the chatter of families gathering for a first-time experience. Over the weekend, the WNBA brought its inaugural games to the city, filling the 10,000-seat venue with a kaleidoscope of blue and red jerseys and the bright smiles of children clutching freshly signed basketballs. One vivid moment stood out. A 7-year-old girl in a custom-made Montreal Flyer shirt sprinted down the aisle, high-fiving players as they left the court, her excitement echoing the collective pride of a community that had waited years for this moment. President France Margaret Bélanger, watching from the press box, said the energy was unmistakable and vowed to return next season, promising more opportunities for local talent to shine. The weekend proved more than a series of games. It became a celebration of inclusion, of young athletes seeing role models who look like them, and of a city united by sport. It's a reminder that when we come together, the possibilities feel as endless as a fast break.
In the heart of the plateau, just steps from St. Laurent Boulevard, a small community center buzzed with quiet excitement. Volunteers from the nonprofit group Families First had gathered around a modest table covered with paperwork, coffee mugs, and a photograph of 12-year-old Layla, her smile bright against the backdrop of a Lebanese market. After months of navigating Quebec's adoption validation process, the center's legal advisor, Marie-Claude, placed a freshly stamped certificate in the center of the table. The document confirmed that Layla's adoption, performed in Beirut 5 years ago, was now officially recognized by the province. Layla's mother, Amira, clasped the certificate, tears slipping onto her cheeks as she whispered, "We can finally go home." The room erupted in soft applause, and a local baker who had donated croissants handed Amira a warm roll, its crust still crackling. As the sun slipped behind the rooftops, the group stepped outside onto the cobblestones, feeling the weight of bureaucracy lift and the promise of a new beginning settle over them. It's moments like these that remind us how a caring community can turn paperwork into a path home.
Thank you, Montreal, for joining us on the local sunrise. Tonight's highlight, CF Montreal's 2-1 victory over Vancouver FC, sending us into the Canadian Championship semifinals, reminds us why sport feels like home. We appreciate your support and look forward to bringing you more stories tomorrow morning. See you then.